Hello Chess Universe, welcome to another video from Chess for You. Today we are going to be looking at a game played in 1909, an exhibition game played between Capablanca and Beckley Adams. Capablanca with the white pieces opens up the game with e4. It's a quite principled move. For one, it opens up lines for your bishop and your queen. Also, it establishes control over the center. So these are the center squares in a chessboard. By virtue of the pawn's position, it has control over this square and this square by virtue of the scope, and also this square as well. So you would want to develop your pawns in the opening so that you have control over the center. So by that same logic, but black replies with e5. He has control over these two squares. Capablanca develops his knight to f3 with hopes of eating the e5 pawn and establishing a firm control. Black prevents it by defending the pawn. If the knight takes, black's knight can take it up. Capablanca develops his other knight, knight to c3. Now he has control over these two squares by this particular knight. Black replies with bishop c4. This is a good diagonal for the black bishop because it has a it's looking at the weak f pawn of white. I say weak because this particular pawn is at present only defended by the king. On that same logic, this is a weak pawn. So any pawn that is being defended by the king in the opening or in the middle game is a weak pawn. End game is a different thing. It's a good diagonal for the bishop. You would want to develop your bishop so that you're lined up looking at the weak f pawn. Now in this game, white goes for actually takes on e5. The point here is, like, let's say if black takes, you're gonna land up in a double attack, a fork. Now this pawn is attacking both the knight and the bishop. Right now there are multiple ways black can reply here. The best way would be to move your bishop here, but let's say you move your bishop here. White is just going to take on the pawn, and white is simply a pawn up. The best way would be to move your bishop here so that if white takes, you take back with your bishop and you're good to go. But in the game, black takes on d4. Now this results in queen taking it and attacking the knight. This knight is virtually pinned. I say virtually pinned because you won't be able to move your knight, because if you do, let's say you move your knight here, you're gonna eat up this pawn, or let's say you, or it doesn't matter, you're gonna eat this pawn. So you gotta defend your knight without moving it. But the best way would be to move your d pawn, defending your knight. The reason is this is gonna open up lines for your bishop, because you would want to develop your bishop. But black actually defends with the queen, which is quite unprincipled. For one, you don't have a development move for your knight. Ideally, your knight should come here, but this is also, it's quite passive. But yeah, it depends on the situation. So, anyways, black goes for queen to f6. Now in this game, white goes for knight to b5, attacking the weak c pawn. Nobody's defending it. With if black does not pay attention, then he's gonna land up in a fork, attacking both. Your knight is gonna attack on or take on c and take on the c pawn, and you're gonna attack the king, and you're gonna eat the rook in this process. So one may ask that why not this move, right? So why not attack your queen and the c pawn, and then maybe a fork? Isn't this better? Yeah, so I'm gonna ask you guys to pause the video at this stage. See for a good continuation for a good winning move for black starting from now. Okay, so if you guys found this move, you have a good tactical vision. For one, the reason is this is gonna open up a discovered attack to the queen. Let's say you have to address the check to the king. Let's say you take back, you're gonna lose your queen, and that game is lost. Now how is it different when the knight moves here? Now the same technique does not work. Let's say black goes for this, you're gonna take. Now if you take, your knight is safely protecting your queen. Now in this variation, you're simply a piece up, right? So going back to the actual move here, yeah. So in order to defend, the ideal way to go forward would be to actually move your king here so that you prevent the fork. And let's say Black does take on here, you will get this nice semi-open file wherein you can bring your rook into the game and have some counterplay going at the cost of a pawn, which is perfectly fine. But in the game, black was a little bit greedy and tried to defend it with the king. Now Capablanca went, or tried to attack with the queen. Now you have a double attack on this pawn. So black defended by with an interference move, moved his knight here so that your queen won't be able to attack. Now I want you guys to think. No need to even pause as well. You can find a winning move for white. So yeah, so you find this move, it's amazing. That's checkmate, guys. The reason is you don't have any place for your. So these three squares are being blocked by your own piece, and these two squares are completely taken away by your queen, and that's checkmate. So that's a good miniature, guys. If you found this video informative, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. Now, I'll see you guys in another video. Please stay tuned. Thank you all.